So if you could tell us your name and whereabouts in Southwark you live or you lived.
Oh, yes. Um, my name is Gloria Grace, and Singh is my married name, but my maiden name was Francisco. But then my mom married Ross, and he had our names changed by deed poll
Okay.
because he brought us up, my stepdad. You know, he's the one, I don't even know what my father looks like, what is his birthday, because I was only about 2 when he stole us
Okay.
and took us to his sister's house. And then I remember my mum coming with her cousin to get me back. He tricked her, you know.
Where was this? Where was this?
This is in Guyana.
Guyana.
Yeah, it was British Guyana at the time. And I remember him taking me, and I'm holding on in his trousers. It must have been about 2. And my sister was up in arms, you know. And he took us to his sister's house. And my mum came with her cousin. 'Cause my mother was a very quiet, religious woman, and she wasn't. But her cousin was one of these people that can stand up and, you know. So I could remember them fighting for me. They had me up by the lights, fighting to get me back. But my sister, she was tiny in the bed. She didn't know what was going on. We were born the same year, but 10 months difference, you know. And then I went home.
Can I ask what year you were born?
1935, I'm 87. I just had a birthday.
Congratulations. Many happy returns.
Yeah.
So you're living in Southwark now?
Oh, I've been living in Camberwell in a sheltered because I had an abusive marriage, 2 abusive marriages. So I ended up in the sheltered in Camberwell. When I was 13, I used to like changing rooms around and polishing the floor and take, you know, and I went and put petrol to polish. I made the polish with candle and put gasoline in it. And in those days we had these iron stoves. And I went first and I put it on the stove and it was all right, and I needed some more, so I went and we had this open fire called a coal pot. And I thought, oh, I just remember this petrol in there, and I thought, oh, suppose this thing caught, you know, I just had the thought, and as I held it, it exploded on me. And my hair caught a fire, my clothes caught a fire. I think it's a miracle. I don't know how could my hair be on fire. My neck never got burnt, my face never got burnt. And my clothes was on fire, and the neighbors ran up, the men ran up in the house and tore the clothes off me. So I was lying for, well, my mom didn't expect me to live because we had a school fair and we had to wear a white dress because I went to a Roman Catholic school because they always took discipline. And they wanted us to wear a white dress, so my mom made the white dress for me. And she was telling everybody, oh, I'll bury her in the white dress. God, no one expected me to live because they had to make a frame.
So you had burns all over, apart from your
3rd-degree burns, my hip, my thighs, my hand.
Awful shock.
And I had to make a wooden frame because the company closed on me, and I just used to have a vest up to there. I was 13 at the time, 13 years of age. And I think it's willpower. I was fortunate that my dad had a niece, and she was a nurse, and she used to bring all the sterilized
The gauze and stuff.
The gauze,
Yeah.
everything had to be sterilized, and they used to put me in this big zinc bath with salt water, and they had to be tearing the dead skin off and all that, because when the doctor came, he prescribed gentian violet and to paint it, but it wasn't getting better. The burns was too deep, and there was all these tiny little ants crawling. It could have been gone septic.
Yeah.
So she was coming and bringing the sterilized stuff from the hospital,
Right.
and dressing me with it.
Yes. Yeah.
And this went on for 6 months, and then I wanted to go out and have a walk, and the nurse said, "Don't worry, she'll soon run back." But I had a lot of courage and didn't. So I too had a bicycle, and so by cycling to work that time afterwards when I got better, and cycling around the place, I think all that helped, because they used to have to do exercises.
Yeah.
Because my hand, I couldn't move it. I was walking without,
Limited mobility.
and I was walking like this.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
And you're 13.
so, yeah, I was walking like with a hop and a drop, like all drawn up. And then I remember my mother saying, I'm just glad to have her alive. I don't care how she walks. And I had a music teacher at the time, and he said to my mother, Mrs. Ross, she wasn't born like that. And I think I just had what he said give me more courage. And it never really held me back, I never thought about it and all that, because when I was pregnant getting my mom used to be very worried. And of course, when I go to the hospital, the doctors and the nurses, how it happened, when it happened, where it happened. Because they used to have all the students around when I'm going to have my children. But then again, too, it's like I just had the courage, and it never really made me feel less of myself. And I remember this girl saying to me, "Oh, you with all your marks, how are you going to get married?" I said to her, and I turned and said to her, "Well, then I'll prove if the man loves me.
No, what was I didn't catch that, sir.
I will prove if he loves me."
Yes.
That didn't bother me. She was trying to make me feel no man would want me
Yeah.
with the marks.
Yeah.
And I had 2 marriages, and both was abusive. So, I brought up 4 kids on my own. No support, no financial support. And I worked and brought them up.
But there was something about what that doctor said that gave you the spirit and the determination to carry on. And he said you were not born
It wasn't the
like
doctor, it was my music teacher.
that. I mean, you said you were not born like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, I beg your pardon. Your music
Yeah,
teacher.
my music teacher said to my mom, because she thought I would be walking like that for the balance of my life, whatever.
Yeah.
But she was just, God, she said, she didn't pray for me to live because she said it was God's will. Because she told me a story about someone, and the son was on his deathbed, and the mother was cursing God and saying, "You're taking my son," and whatnot. And when that boy grew up, he was so nasty to his mom. It was the reason. I mean, if God had taken him, she wouldn't have had to go through what she went through. So, but then I was in church all the time because my grandfather was a minister and my mom was a Christian, so I was always, because this picture was taken in the Sunday school class.
Yeah, can you tell me something about the picture you brought along today?
This one here is me in with the Sunday school children, and my mum was a Sunday school teacher.
Where is this?
This is in Guyana, and I was attending the Church of God at the time.
What a beautiful picture.
And my mum is at the back. She was a Sunday school teacher, and the minister's wife, the white lady at the back there.
So that's you there?
Yeah.
And that's your mum there?
Yeah. And the other lady, the white lady, is the minister's, the minister's wife. Yeah, they sent it from America. My aunt had it, and when she died, her daughter posted it to me. So my daughter put it in the card, did the card, and sent me to, I just got it this year, Christmas.
Lovely, lovely.
Yeah.
That's a gorgeous. And when you look at that photo, what are you thinking? What do you think about that when you see that?
We were brought up strict, but we were happy, my mum we never got to go to parties and things like that, Yeah.
And the other one here, where you've got yourself, is that your
That's my husband.
Is that your first husband? Or
My first husband, his mother's English, his father's African. From Ghana. And that is me in the Red Cross. It was about voluntary. Before I got a job, I always wanted to do voluntary work. So I used to do it at the hospitals and go to the children homes and help and go to the Dharamsala and take food for the poor people.
Yes.
This rich lady would pick me up in her car and take me with the dinners for the poor people. It's called the Dharamsala.
In Guyana?
Yes, in Guyana.
Yeah.
This is before I got a job. I always said I wanted to do voluntary work, And then when
What brought you to Southwark? What brought you to Southwark?
the second husband lived here.
Right.
So when I got married, I had to pay to come into this borough. They had to publish the bands
I see.
in Edmund Enfield.
Yeah. The wedding bands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I had to pay to come into this borough to get married. So I got married at that Campbellville registry.
Yeah.
There.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you've stayed in Southwark ever since?
Yeah, I've been 18 years where I'm living now.
Wow.
I was in Campbellville, I think, for 10 years. But I was with him in Fenham Road for, I think, 10 years as well. So I've been in Southwark since 1990.
You've got a long association.
Yeah.
What do you like what are your favourite places in Southwark? Where do you like to go?
Well, when I first came to the Southwark, I walked, when I was on the bus at the Old Kent Road, I thought, what a depressing place. But now, I've seen so much improvement. It's made a turnaround,
Oh. Okay, so my final question to you is, where's your favourite place to go in Southwark?
Well, I like going to my clubs.
Like Age UK?
Age UK, and then I was going to Africa now on Wednesday with Sierra Leone, because my children, they all have African names. Because I went to Ghana, my father-in-law, because my husband had to be doing 2 jobs there, and we didn't have much, from one job. He used to go and do an evening job to make 2 ends meet. Because I couldn't work at the time because I had the kids and we were living in Kent. And then one Sunday I said to him, I'm coming to work with you. And the boss came in and he said, I've never known anybody's wives to come to work with them. And then he said to my husband, would she like to do a little job at home? So he gave me a job where I can do at home. Because he admired that I was there. Because I wanted to be with my husband, I wasn't seeing much of him. I thought, I'll come to the office and help him.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So when I ask you a favourite place, I mean, some people say, I love going pick and rye, or I like going to the market. Have you got a favourite place that you...
No, well, I used to go everywhere. I used to get the bus And I used to go down Croydon, I used to go in the country. I used to go for bus rides everywhere, everywhere. And even my friends, when they're looking for me, another thing is, my sister-in-law, she was in the same situation as me. So she used to like me coming down and spending weekends with her. And then one day I said, it's got to stop.
You like to travel?
Yeah, but before, when I used to go out too, I used to buy silly things. You know, things you don't really need. And then when I started going to the clubs, that stopped. It's just boredom, you know, that used to make me want to go and buy things that wasn't really necessary.
Yeah.
But then I joined the clubs, and I used to help in the clubs do the books, you know, at Golden Oldies. I did the collecting the dinner money and all this for them, you know.
Okay.
And then where I live, I do the minutes of the meetings and sign the checks, and I have parties and all that. Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing. We could go. It sounds like you've got so much more than you could say. But we probably do have to end it there. Thank you so much for sharing anyway. Appreciate that.